You know, I was just thinking, in The Dark Knight Rises, it'd be a lot easier for Batman to get out of that hole if he had spider powers. The laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. The dude is 'cause I am a rat guy. 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm lazy 99. Batman fan, and I'm a Canadian man. I do top 10 lists, and I eat ketchup chips. Oh, it's crazy time, and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. I'm talking about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Hey everybody, welcome to another Lazy Dude 99 video. Sorry I've been away for a while, but now I'm finally gonna take the time to review The Amazing Spider-Man. So, it's Amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, and directed by Mark Webb. You know, it's kind of odd to have the director of Spider-Man be named Mark Webb. I mean, I bet it didn't take long for the producers to, you know, hire him. It'd be like probably Sam Raimi begging us to make a fourth one with the Vulture again. Hello? Oh, you have a director for the Spider-Man movie? What's his name? Whoa, what? Mark Webb? We have a director wanting to write Spider-Man named Mark Webb. He's hired. So, you know, like, yeah, that'd be my reaction. But, moving on to the story. The story of The Amazing Spider-Man. Peter Parker is a nerdy high schooler who is trying to find out what happened to his parents. Because, you see, when he was a kid, his parents just up and left and never came back. And so he has no idea where they've been, and he had no idea why they left. So he's trying to find this man, Dr. Connors, that works at Oscorp. But while there, he goes into this room with all these radioactive spiders and gets bitten. And through this encounter, he gets incredible powers. The powers of a spider. He can jump really high, crawl on walls, has super heightened reflexes, and super strength. And so he's just going around enjoying life until one day his Uncle Ben gets shot and killed. I know, spoilers. And so, trying to find the man who did it, he dons this Spider-Man outfit so people won't be able to tell who he is. And in the meantime, there is also Dr. Connors testing this serum on himself and turns him into the evil monster, the Lizard. All the while Peter's doing this, he's also trying to make time for a little date life with Gwen Stacy, who, as I said earlier, was played by Emma Stone. And so Spider-Man eventually needs to face up against the Lizard in a battle of the primates. I guess. That's probably not accurate. Don't hate me. Yeah, I think primates are mammals, so this was a mistake. Man, I hope I'm right about them being mammals, because it sucked to make a mistake in my mistake segment. So I'm just going to first off say the best thing about this movie is Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. First of all, because they are great together. First, just because their characters have so much actual chemistry. I'm hearing, like, I'm not usually one to go into the gossip column of you know, entertainment, but I'm hearing that they're actually a couple that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone is. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would make sense because their characters have so much chemistry. Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker is the Peter Parker we have been waiting for. He fully embodies the nerdiness, the geekiness, but not the show-off. He's not a show-off, just the geeky nature of this character and the adventurous and the humor, all done really well. and he just really seems to inhabit Peter Parker to the fullest, you know, and he's relatable, and he doesn't feel like a character out of the 70s or something. He feels very much a kid of nowadays, and the whole high school scenario feels very much like a nowadays high school, where, you know, like in the past Spider-Man film, it didn't really feel like a real high school, you know, like, I don't know, it felt a little cartoonish, but here it feels like a real high school. And Andrew Garfield does a great job as the transition from Peter Parker into Spider-Man and the whole stuff in between. Then you got Emma Stone. Now Emma Stone, she does a good job of Gwen Stacy. They went to the route where Gwen Stacy is kind of also a brainiac too, as well as good looking. And you know, I think it works. I mean, as I said, she and Peter have a lot of good chemistry with each other. And we see that she actually does stuff in this film, you know? It's like she actually does things to further the plot and to further the story, and she's not just there for the villain to capture and be holding while he's fighting Spider-Man. So, yeah, and her and Pete, and, you know, they just have really good chemistry. I love them together, and, it almost makes me like think, well, should this series even have a Mary Jane? Because let's just say I really like how they did Gwen Stacy. Should they go the route where Gwen Stacy ends up, you know? But that's in the future. We're talking about this right now. So that was my favorite part of the film. Let me just talk right now. My least favorite. The Lizard. Like, say what you want about the previous Spider-Man movies. Especially say a lot about the third one. But the Lizard is... I don't get if it's is it a split personality? Is it just he's gone mad with it? Is it just is it like a Jekyll and Hyde addiction? Because it's like, you first say, okay, it's a split personality, right? No, wait, he's just addicted. No, wait, he's really evil. No, wait, no, he's not evil. It was like... You know, I didn't feel anything for this character. One of the reviewers that I watched, Jeremy Johns, he said, and I fully agree with this, that there was I wouldn't have cared if he died. You know, if the Lizard had died, I would have been like, oh great, good. He was, you know, being a menace to society. He was putting hundreds of people in danger. Good, he's dead. They stopped him. If he was supposed to be a sympathetic villain, which I think he was, I should have been like, oh man, this is horrible. You know, take Dr. Connors from the animated series, Spectacular Spider-Man. While I'm not a big fan of the Lizard in general, I felt for his character. I felt for the horrible situation he was in. With this, I just was kind of confused by it, and I just don't think it was fleshed out as well as it could have been. You know, like, it was there and it was driving the story forward, but I don't think it was doing the best job of it. I want to talk about Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Because I'm not sure, I don't like them as much as the previous movie. Now, Rosemary Harris, she's just a sweetheart. And they were kind of pushed, well, not Uncle Ben per se, but Aunt May was kind of pushed out of the story. I mean, she was in it, but she wasn't involved in it, you know? It was when Peter goes out night after night looking for the criminal that killed Uncle Ben, and Aunt May's just there at home. We don't see what this does to her, and we don't get to feel her loss in this situation as much as Peter's and the delicate situation it's in. Uncle Ben I liked a lot. You know, because he felt, I don't know, he just felt like a real uncle. And I'm not going to say if I liked him better or not from the other previous Uncle Ben, because I think that guy was really good too. When Peter does something, and he doesn't beat up Flash Thompson like he did in like the other one, and even the other one he wasn't meaning to, but he does something on purpose to humiliate him. And we're laughing at him because they're like, you know, this guy's an idiot and a jerk, so, you know, he kind of deserves it. And, you know, Uncle Ben is really indignant of it. He really says, Peter, you can't do stuff like this. And And just the whole situation that is handled, it reminds me a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man. The only thing I wish they delved more on the death. Because I'm not going to say the whole situation, but Peter Parker runs away from the house mad, and he goes into a store, and the whole situation has changed from a wrestler, which I get that they didn't have time to tell that story, and they didn't want to tell that part of the story, but basically he goes into a store, and they're like, yeah, you're off by 2 cents, so you can't have this drink. He's like, but I don't have 2 cents. He's like, too bad. Should have come to Canada. We're getting rid of our penny. I'm not even joking. There's going to be no more penny in Canada. Anyway, so then someone goes, robs the store, and throws Peter Parker, the drink, throws him in, and then runs out of the store. And then the guy's like, you should stop him, man. He's like, hey, it's not my problem. And then the guy with the gun runs into Uncle Ben. The gun falls out. Uncle Ben goes for the gun to try to stop him, and the guy gets it and shoots Uncle Ben. And then Peter goes to him and says, Uncle Ben, and then it goes to him with his aunt, and then I think this moves it along a little too fast. I would have liked that to felt more slow. I think in the original Spider-Man that scene felt more like this scene you could argue should feel more tragic than the other one because it's more realistic. I mean, it's not a guy running with a bunch of money just happens to pick him out of anything. It was Uncle Ben was looking for Peter. He's in the same area. The guy's robbing something right next to Peter, and Peter doesn't bother with it. And then the guy goes and shoots Uncle Ben. It's more realistic. I'll give it that. Definitely more realistic. And the event kind of feels like a more realistic event rather than the classic, typical, final breath sequence. Uncle Ben was just shot and he was dead. It was more realistic. I'll give it that, but I think that you could add a little bit flair into stuff like this. And I think it felt more tragic in the other Spider-Man films when Uncle Ben died than this one. And is it just me, or did Peter tell Gwen Stacy that he was Spider-Man a little, too soon into the relationship? I don't know, that just may be me, but I felt like it was just like, I know you've known this girl for a while, but you just became friends a little while ago, and then you just started dating. Like, today. It's not even a real date, you're just meeting her parents. Yeah, I think it's a little too soon. Especially since her father is the police chief who wants to arrest Spider-Man. Speaking of her father, I think he's handled okay. And the ending of this film, it really leaves things up in the air, so we don't really know what to expect for the next one. We know that if you wait in the credits, you'll see a shady man in the dark saying, "Did you tell him about his parents?" and stuff like that, but besides that, we don't really know what's going to happen. Just want to quickly talk about the effects. I like the web swinging a lot. It's more colorful and more vibrant and looks cooler, I think, in this film than in the other one. The fight scenes, none of them really stand out too much. I mean, they're there and they're cool, but none of them really stand out to the point where you're just like, oh man, that's awesome. Oh well. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up. So, Amazing Spider-Man. You've probably already seen it. Well, I'm reviewing it anyway. So, Amazing Spider-Man, definitely good story. I think it's better than the first Spider-Man. Whether it's better than Spider-Man 2, that's kind of debatable. I haven't think I've fully rested on that because in Spider-Man 2 they had a much better villain. But it has a great main character and a great love interest that actually have chemistry with each other, and that you actually want to see go places and all that. And it leaves it really well open for the next film. So I'm giving The Amazing Spider-Man an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.